All right, another season, another early playoff exit for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. And one of the greatest players of all time is heading towards an offseason that could hold the most uncertainty he's ever faced in his career. Bron, turning 40 years old in December, has some major decisions to make this upcoming summer, and potentially what is he prioritizing as we enter the final stage of his illustrious NBA career. So for those of you who don't know, LeBron James has a contract decision coming up. He has a player option where he could opt into playing for the Lakers next season for $51.4 million. That's a solid deal, but does he want to stay in LA? He spent 6 seasons in LA. The team really hasn't done much, whether it's LeBron's fault or not, to build an elite roster around him. They had a good team this year, but it was another early playoff exit, losing 5 to the Nuggets. They look decent. The Nuggets are a great basketball team, but that's just not the Lakers. And we're entering towards the backside of AD's prime career. They were great this season. LeBron and AD, we didn't expect we'd see this kind of production from those two or this durability. They were available for most of the season. Lakers still ended up as the 7th seed in the play-in game. They don't really have anything going. They're about to fire head coach Darvin Ham, and I'm just not quite sure why LeBron would trust the Lakers and Rob Pelinka to build a championship team around them. Now, the LeBron and the Lakers did win a title in 2020. It was the bubble title. They were the #1 team before the shutdown. You're going to argue about it, but the city of LA, the Lakers fans, have not embraced that championship, so it kind of feels hollow. And there's been a lot of underproduction for this Lakers team with LeBron. And does LeBron care about winning championships? Now, we know how much LeBron has talked about wanting to play with his son, Bronny, who entered the NBA draft for this upcoming draft. Is he a draftable player? Absolutely not. He is not an NBA-ready guy, but the allure, the enticing of possibly swaying LeBron to come play for your team is going to get Bronny drafted most likely in the 40s by some team who has a lot of cap space. But there's not a whole lot of teams that could potentially pry LeBron away from Los Angeles. Now, LeBron's building a brand. He's building his post-career setup. He also is trying to make some money. It's very obvious LeBron is going to be the owner of the new Las Vegas franchise once the NBA expands to Vegas. So staying in LA would probably be the best financial decision for him, even though the taxes, we all know about the taxes there. But let's just get into what his options are. Like I said, he could opt into his contract, spend 1 more year in LA, and then hit free agency as a 40-year-old. I don't love those odds. Now, because he's over 38, there are limits to the contracts LeBron could get, because I'm sure people would give LeBron a 5-year extension and say, whatever, we'll figure it out. So he could do one of two things. He could take an extension with the Lakers, 3 years, $164.3 million. That's the most possible money he could get from anybody in the league. But there is a trade clause. He can get traded. So if this thing doesn't work out, we're in year 2 of this contract, the Lakers could just say screw it and ship LeBron out of town to somebody else who's willing to overpay, rebuild potentially around Anthony Davis, or just totally start fresh, ship AD out, and that's that for the Lakers. He could also opt out of his contract and then sign a new contract with the Lakers, $162 million, but there is a no trade clause, so he'd be stuck in LA unless he gives the go-ahead for them to deal him. I don't know if the Lakers would be ecstatic about doing all of that, and do you want to give LeBron this kind of max money at 40 years old? LeBron was really good this season, though. 71 games, 25, 7, and 8 average for the season on 54, 41, and 75% splits. LeBron is getting better as a shooter, and he was excellent in this postseason against Denver, I thought. Now, he's not really the two-way stud we used to see. He just really doesn't try hard on defense anymore. He's not able to athletically do it. He's got to save that for the offensive end, but that's okay. You can still work around that. His offensive production, especially in the postseason, is the most enticing thing, I think, for some teams that are going to try and woo LeBron. There are some teams out there that could be really close to a championship, and if that's LeBron's priority, I think he could take the move out of LA. It's not a long-term move. It's a short 1, 2, 3 years potentially with a team. Try and add that 5th championship, because that's a big, big difference. If you get to 5 titles, 5 rings, Jordan had 6. He's talked about how he's chasing the ghost in Chicago. He's going to have 50,000 points, shattering the all-time score. He's going to have a very, very strong argument for those that are still on the fence about the GOAT debate. We're not going to go into that here. But what would the free agent contract look like? He signed a 3-year deal. It's only $157.7 million, but it's like 50 per. He'd be making 105% of the $47 million he's making this season. So that's still a really good amount of money. The question is, where could he go? There's only a few teams that could possibly fit LeBron into the salary cap and then stay under the first tax apron. And if a team is willing to spend some money, go over that tax apron, that could be really interesting. But it's a lot of bad teams. We're talking like Detroit, San Antonio. This is I love Victor Wembanyama, but they're not competing for a title anytime soon. There's some other interesting teams. Utah, not a really good team. They went on full tank. The Thunder, but I don't think the Thunder really need him or be willing to spend that money for LeBron. Potentially the Magic, but I don't know if he'd go to Orlando. I think he would fit good in Orlando. I think that's a really good spot. I like Orlando. That's a young, exciting team. They could definitely use his veteran experience and scoring for them. But the big one that's kind of flashing lights, screaming out to everybody, there's two. The New York Knicks, potentially, that would really cement his legacy. If you could bring a title to the Knicks, a team that has been horrendous at basketball, it feels like forever, haven't won a title in 50 plus years, but it's a team that the city really grabs, it really embraces. That would be a lot more complicated. They would be stuck with the hard apron. They'd have to do some trades. Julius Randle would have to get shipped out. Mitchell Robinson probably. Lots of picks. It would have to be a sign and trade. They can't really just sign him as a free agent. That's an interesting team, but the big one that's kind of screaming out to me, screaming out to everybody should be the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the Sixers down 3-2 against the Knicks in the first round here, but they have essentially unlimited cap space next season. They're going to be about 60 to 65 million under that first apron. They're only going to have 2 guaranteed contracts. If they win this series, they're only going to have 1 guaranteed contract. Embiid at $54 million. They can keep Maxey at just $13 million, which is essentially nothing for an all-star elite type guard in Maxey. So they could sign Braun to this big number and still have 7 to 8 million in cap space, plus 5 first-round picks that they could trade and try and woo back some guys. Thinking a guy like Alex Caruso, a former teammate of LeBron, won a title with him, loves him. Get him on the team, play some defense. They have to rebuild the roster, but they would have so much flexibility to do so. And owner Josh Harris has shown he's willing to go above the tax apron, especially this is it. We are at the final stages of any hope with the Embiid era in Philadelphia of bringing home a championship. And LeBron would be a great cure to him. Embiid, we know all about him. He sucks in the playoffs. He's under-delivered. He's always hurt. And the Sixers get crushed without Embiid on the court. LeBron would be able to play this big, long wing scorer that could help take the ease off of Embiid and take the ease off of LeBron. He doesn't have to be the ball handler in Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey can take on that responsibility like we saw this year, and it was excellent. And it's very obvious that the Sixers are missing that second/third guy at the wing spot. Tobias Harris, maybe the worst player in the history of the NBA per dollar amount that he has made. It's been a train wreck. You trade for a guy like Caruso, you add some defense to help pick up the slack, and this team can be completely remade with LeBron giving it a couple runs. The Sixers, a historic franchise, haven't won a title in forever, haven't gotten to past the second round since 2001 when they made a run to the finals with AI. I think this is a huge opportunity if LeBron cares about championships. They have late picks so they could draft Bronny if he wants to play with Bronny on top of that. It's kind of a weird thought to think about. Does LeBron pull the trigger? Does he is he willing to go on and go all out for that 5th championship? Or is he just content with being kind of a average team in the West and, make the playoffs look good, live a comfortable life? Because the East is wide open right now. Boston's the dominant team, but everybody else, it feels like it's all up in the air, and there's an opportunity to be seized. And GM Daryl Morey is feeling the heat. He's known to take big swings. He's got no problem with it. I could potentially see LeBron in a Sixers uniform for one final shot at a title. But if LeBron's cool with just doing what he's done in his career, he doesn't have anything else to prove to me or really anybody else. He's done essentially everything in his career. So if he just wants to chill in LA, that's on him. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Could we see LeBron leave the Lakers? Where do you think would be a good landing spot? Do you agree that he could go to Philadelphia, make them a serious title contender finally as the number 2 option on that team? Let me know what you guys think. If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel more, sign up for a channel membership. You get all sorts of cool perks, exclusive videos, early access to videos. Help support me, allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.